If you've ever felt like the truth hurt more than betrayal itself, stay with me, okay? And we know it's not because you didn't expect it, but it's because you had to figure it out alone. And see, in this episode, it's not about blaming anyone. It's about explaining why your body still hurts and why your mind keep replaying it and why you haven't been able to shake it, even after you know the truth. And if you're listening while driving or running or maybe walking or laying down, you don't need to take notes. No, just let this land. But I want to tell you a story about a friend I used to work with. I ain't going to say his name because a lot of people may know him. And I'm very confidential, but he was telling me about a story in his relationship where nothing dramatic had happened at first. There was no explosion. There was no obvious betrayal. It was just small things that just didn't line up. Like she would go out with her friends and family and say they're taking girls trips and this was like happening a lot. And then sometimes she would be like, hey, I'm going to my mom's house for a while. And when he would question things to her, right, he would say, hey, what's going on with this? And who was all there? And, she would answer him very calm. But he would feel like, bro, something just does not feel honest. So he kept hearing her say things like, you're an overthinker, babe. That's not what really happened. I already told you everything. So guess what he did? He did what loyal people do. He trusted. He gave grace. He stayed. But his body, it never settled. And see, conversations would be replayed in his mind that night, and certain explanations, it didn't sit right with him. And even without proof, he told me, he says, bro, something is off. Then one day he caught her in a small lie, a small timeline issue that didn't match up. And then once that first crack of truth came to the light, he realized, he says, man, I've been knowing this the entire time. I've been connecting all of the dots alone. And when the truth finally came clear, it didn't feel relieving, bro. It felt heavy. You know what I told him? I said, it's because clarity didn't bring peace. It brought you grief, bro. Not just for what happened, but for how long you had to carry this, knowing the truth, knowing this confusion. You had to carry this all by yourself. See, this is the kind of betrayal that people don't talk about. And that's what we're going to unpack today. And if this story have hit close to home to you, maybe you have been in a similar situation, I want you to hear this clearly. Nothing I'm telling you is wrong with you. What you are experiencing and what you're going through, it wasn't just betrayal. It was betrayal in silence. See, I want to start off and talk about the invisible injury. See, this pain is not just like an emotional weakness. No, it's a psychological injury. It's like when someone lies to you, especially in pieces, your nervous system never gets rest. If you don't believe me, what about people who lied to you and they tell you they was here, but they didn't tell you that they went somewhere else? Right? What if they tell you, oh, I got this gift from this person, but they didn't tell you about the other gifts that they got? See, when somebody lies to you, man, your nervous system, it never gets rest because your body is always on alert. And your mind keeps scanning like it's scanning for a virus on a computer. Like, I'm trying to find this malware. I'm trying to find this Trojan because it's running me crazy. Your spirit is just unsettled. And that's why you couldn't relax. And that's why you replayed those conversations. It's like your body knew before your mind could prove it. Now, how many people have known something, couldn't get no rest in their mind? You knew it. You knew something seemed off. Your body knew, but your mind couldn't prove it yet. I think that if you are suffering with betrayal, this is for you. And by the time that you get to the end of this, you're going to want to hear more, because this is interesting. So the second thing that I want to talk about, though, is why do half truths hurt more? Like when somebody tell you a partial lie, all right? Like when a lie gets exposed. So he told me, back to his story, he told me that she told him that she went to her mom's house on this specific date. She caught a plane to go see her mother. But what she didn't say is that before she got to her mother's house, she went to her friend's house that he never knew who the guy was. See, a lie ends when the truth is exposed, the half-truths. Then it's one lie after another. No, I was going to see my homegirl, he said. And, I was going by their house. And okay, so now you told him that you was going to your mom's house, and then but you didn't tell him that you was flying to your homegirl house. And then now you have to keep on lying. But see, that half truth, it keeps anybody trapped. See, half truths, it don't just hide information. They manage your reality. See, they delay your decisions. See, when you get half the truth, it's like, okay, well, maybe there's room for, maybe she's not lying. But then half truths, it literally steals your ability to choose. So now you can't really choose what's right at that moment. You can't choose to feel like, man, should I really believe what I'm feeling right now? Should I believe what I know in my mind and my heart to be true, what's logical? But see, now your decisions is delayed, and now that lie have robbed you of your ability to choose at that moment. See, withholding truth is not protection. It's not. It's control. And see, that pain comes from being loyal. See, when you're a loyal person, you're hurting because inside a reality, you didn't consent to a half lie. You consented to a person that is literally going to give you the truth. And I want to speak to people right now who are dealing with people who are lying or telling you some of the truth, but not the whole truth. Don't be confused. If you ask a person, where did you go? And they don't tell you everywhere they went, something should go off in your mind. Don't let that half lie mess your ability up to be able to choose what's right in your logical thinking. Because the pain is coming because you're so loyal and you're in a reality that is pretty much telling you, I'm going to tell you what I want you to know. And that's a person that you cannot trust. That's a person you cannot build with. That's a person you cannot grow with. Because at any moment, what if a part of that lie comes full surface because you're in a situation Or maybe you got something you can't give back. Or maybe you're missing money that wasn't missing. Or maybe you had to replace something that they left and that you tracked at somebody else's house. See, there's so many situations that comes from these half-truths. But the third thing that I want to talk about is when you discover this thing alone, man, this part, it really matters because you wasn't just betrayed. You were left to figure it out by yourself. You carried the confusion going back and forth in your mind, being confused. And we know that God is not the author of confusion. I really believe that when you get the truth, that'll set you free. And I want to tell everybody that have betrayed somebody at one point in your life, if you're in a relationship with this person and you want healing, you have to be a person of real truth. You can't build a friendship on half lies. You can't build a strong bond on half lies. And I see a lot of marriages. I see a lot of relationships that have the potential to get past the hurt, but it can't because somebody want to keep lying and telling half truths. But I want to talk about, again, I want to get back to you discovering this thing alone and you carrying this confusion by yourself. And you had to connect all of the dots after questioning yourself while they avoided accountability. See, that type of pain came from being loyal while doing the work that they avoided. You're a good person. You're just with a person that's not a good person. You're with a person who's unloyal, unfaithful, and you can never trust them. They have no accountability. Right now, you need to understand this. You need to understand the pain that you're feeling and the betrayal that's happening in silence. It could potentially be destroying you. The fourth thing I want to talk about is when clarity hits. See, clarity, it doesn't feel peaceful at first. It doesn't. It feels like grief. Because you're asking yourself, why couldn't this person just tell me the truth? And a lot of people, they are afraid to tell you the truth because they want to continue to hide the nature of the type of person they are. They also, right, don't want you to judge them for who they are. But the crazy thing about it is when the truth come out and it's exposed and everybody get to know the business, if they would have just told the truth in the beginning, it wouldn't be so much grief. But I want to get back, so clarity, it hurts, man. That truth, it hurts. It's not peaceful. And a lot of people say, when I get this truth, I'm going to be this. No. It feels like grief because clarity doesn't just reveal the truth. It destroys the version of the person you were holding on to. It destroys them. See, you thought she was the one that you can trust forever more than anybody in the world. Or maybe it might be you thought you can trust him. You thought this man would never go out and do things because you were such a good person to him. You cook, you clean, you was meek, you humble. You didn't have a drinking addiction. You was just a all around good woman. And this man went out and did what he did. And he lied and he told pieces. And before you know it, he got somebody pregnant. And now that perfect version of him that you had in your mind is destroyed. Your hope of what that person could be is destroyed. See, truth, it removes hope. And see, hope it cushions the pain, But see, the truth, it removes the hope. You're no longer hoping anymore. And that's why it hurts so bad. Not because it's ugly, but because it's final. I hope that somebody is really listening to me today, because this is what many people don't want to talk about. See, hope, it cushions the pain. Let me get back there. You just hope that this person isn't doing that. You just hope that there's a chance that they didn't do this. See, there's women who would say, I hope that he really didn't do that. Maybe he was talking to her. Maybe he might have hugged her, but hopefully he didn't go out here and do anything unprotected. And before you know it, he has a whole nother child. That's final. It's ugly. It doesn't feel good. When clarity hits, when the truth comes out, it doesn't, oh my goodness, it doesn't feel good, because in your mind, you knew all along that something just don't feel right. And you hope that what you feeling was not true. If this is you and you're on social media, I want you to comment, he's telling the truth, if you agree. Comment it. And I also want you to share. If you're in my group, Mark's Inner Circle on Facebook, I want you to definitely share this group to people who are trying to heal from betrayal. And don't forget, I got a training called How to Reset After Betrayal that teaches you on how to start over, how to heal from it. And these are things that we need to talk about in a world that we live in today. It's like one moment you can be doing really good in your relationship, and then the next moment, your relationship could fall apart. Why is that? I just tell people it's because of sin. It's because of lifestyle. It's because of, sometimes you get with the wrong people. You get with the wrong crowd. And frankly, this is 2026. People listen to the internet more than they listen to the Bible. People listen to the internet more than they listen to real deal logic. Don't that make sense? So the last thing I want to talk about, though, is number 5, is why you can't move on from this. Why are you stuck? Why is your mind like in a loop? It's trying to close. You're trying to heal. You're trying to get over it, but you keep replaying it over and over again. I want to tell you it's not obsession. It's your brain trying to seek a resolution. See, there are some things that you still don't know. There are some things that you're still trying to figure out. And there's some anger that you have, but it's not immaturity. It's just delayed self-respect. And I want to say this, you're not broken. You're not. You just finished. And you're finishing something that never got a clean ending. I want to talk about a 6th thing. I want to talk about the closure reset. Let's call it that. See, closure, it does not come from someone who lied. It does not come from that. It does not come from the person that lied and then now they finally tell the truth. It doesn't come from that. Because I want you to think about something. When they tell you the truth, and you have to psychologically get this in your mind, when they tell you the truth, it's not going to undo the damage. It's not. I believe that closure comes from self-validation. I believe it comes from trusting what you already know. You got to believe in yourself. Now, I'm not telling you to go out here and trust in strong delusions, because you have relationships and people who believe in delusions. Yo, I got a friend who girl thinks that when somebody else that he don't know posts on their page, it's about her. My friend, that is a delusion. And that's in the mind. That's a spiritual issue. That's not what I'm talking about today. I'm not telling you to self-validate on delusion. No, you self-validate on the logistical truth. Things that you know without a reason of a doubt in your mind. That's going to help you start with your real closure. See, closure, it starts when you stop asking a liar to confirm your reality. You already know what time it is. You already know he went out there being unprotected doing his thing. There was a time I had to counsel someone who caught something. And they knew that they wasn't doing anything. They thought maybe it came from toys, or maybe they sat on a seat at a bathroom. But then the truth came out. Hopefully, this situation, it wasn't that bad, but it was still the truth. I tell people, look, man, closure is not going to come from you trying to hear them tell the truth. The only thing that comes from that is maybe a real friendship. Because I'm going to tell you right now, a person that don't tell you the truth, it's going to be real hard for you to be friends with them or even trust them on a lower level. I see couples every day who have children together, and they hate each other because somebody is not truthful. Why is it that we are taught, especially Christian people are taught, or people who are maybe not Christian, you maybe just believe in the word. You're taught that a lot can come from telling the truth, being honest. A lot of people are not free right now because they've never been honest. I've had people call me and say, I'm switching over a new leaf. I'm telling the truth now. Brothers, I had a brother that I knew that lie so much is crazy. And one day he woke up and said, I'm going to start telling the truth now. It was at that moment that I really started taking him, because he told me every lie that he had ever told me. Lied about having cars and lied about having money and lied about these different women and lied about these different situations, only so that I could look at him a different way. I'm telling you right now, stop looking for trust in a person that never tells you a truth. Closure won't come there. Closure comes from, again, it comes from you self-validating yourself. You already know the truth. Yes, it hurts. You know what? I'm going to give you a seventh thing. I want to talk about rebuilding self-trust. See, because the real healing isn't trusting others again. It's trusting yourself. See, you went through so much confusion in your relationship that you stopped believing in yourself, in that your own thoughts. And I'm not telling you that leaning on your own understanding. I'm talking about the thoughts that God exposed to you. Not by some delusional dream. I'm talking about by some intangible. I'm talking about some real validated things that you know that is true. And so you will look at the truth back then and you wouldn't even trust yourself. I want to talk about you got to start rebuilding self-trust. That's real healing. It's not trusting other people again. And then it makes me wonder why in the Bible it says trust no one. Why would it say that? Man, we got some wicked people. There's some wicked people around you. You just don't know it. If you've ever been in a situation and you didn't know somebody was that wicked, comment below. Let people know there are some wicked people. Comment, there are some wicked people if you agree. You sensed it. You noticed it. You noticed the inconsistencies. See, you wasn't wrong. You was just patient. You was hoping for a different outcome. You ignored the signs because you cared. And I want to say this. Caring is not a flaw. You're not flawed because you cared. You're not flawed because you was hoping. You're just hurting. You're caught in a cycle. And every time you think about it and you replay these moments, I would just want to tell you, get back to self-validation. I have a reset practice that I want to do with you right now. And some of you, I know you can't write this down because you may be traveling. Those of you that are sitting down and you're able to write this down, I want you to, if you can, or just think it through, okay? I want you to ask yourself, what did I suspect? What did I suspect? The next question I want you to write down is, what was I told? Okay. Then I want you to write down or say it out loud. What do I know now? Now say this with me. You can say this quietly or you can say it out loud. I trust myself. I don't need permission to believe what I know. The truth doesn't need their confirmation. Now I want you to let that settle. And I want to say this. I know the truth hurts. It hurt because you love so deeply. It hurt because just the thought is sickening to you. Just the thought of the embarrassment, just the thought of the shame, just the thought of your name being drug, or just the thought that you're tied up with this type of person. It hurts because you love that person so deeply. It hurt because you was loyal. It hurt because honesty mattered to you the most. And I got to say this, that healing, it doesn't begin when someone finally tells the truth. It doesn't. And that's the thing where the devil want to keep you trapped. That's not where the healing starts. It begins when you trust yourself again. This is reset after betrayal. And this is where the reset begins. Now, I don't want you to let this go over your head, because you've been betrayed in silence. I have a lot of help and a lot of programs for you, and I hope that you grow past this. I pray that you grow past this. I think that you should learn a lot from this, and also get my book, 21 Days to Reset. you can go to markleejr.com and you can get it there. All right. It's cheaper than Amazon. I tell people still go and pay double the price on Amazon, but you could get it cheaper on my website. Also, I want you to tap into the training modules that I've created to help you reset after betrayal. It will change your life. Don't give up. Don't give in. Better days are coming.